Hello everyone, thank you for joining us here at lanksports.com for what unbelievably is the Week 10 edition of the High School Football Preview Show. Jeff, it seems like just 2 weeks ago or so we were going over our football tab at the beginning of the year and doing the season previews. Now here we are in the final week of the regular season. But there are a lot of good games on the docket this week, so let's have a look at them.
Let's get to it.
Well, Jeff, in Section 2, it reminds me of the old saying in the Bible, the last shall be first and the first shall be last. So with that in mind, we're going to start off with Conestoga Valley going up against Ephrata, a pair of 0-9 teams. Jeff, something's got to give here. One of these teams got to get a win. What do you think?
Wow. Well, we got to start with Coach Novak at CB. Mm-hmm. He tendered his resignation this week, so this will be Coach Novak's final game with the BUCKSKINS. 14 years with that program as the head coach, and he was a defensive coordinator under our good buddy Jim Contafio before that. So Jared's had enough. He said, I'm done. I didn't feel the pressure to go. I wasn't pressured out by anybody, but it's time. And I know he's gone through some off-the-field things, and he's ready to go. So this will be Coach Novak's final game, calling the shots for the BUCKSKINS. So a sad night there. Both teams looking for a win. Holy moly. Both teams have done some good things and taken baby steps here and there. I'm going to go BUCKSKINS here. I think they rally for their coach. I mean, really. I mean, have a week, guys. Think of your coach. This is it. Think of what he's done for your program and what he's done all these years. So I know Ephrata's at home. I know they're just jonesing to get a win for sure. Their passing game's been really good. But I think CB finds a way. I think if they get focused, play for their coach, and send them off right, I think Kelly has a good night out of the backfield. I'll take the Bucks.
Okay, so the CV grad takes the BUCKSKINS on that one. I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to take Ephrata. Really, though, it's kind of a coin flip game. I don't feel very strongly about either team. I'm just going Ephrata because, as you said, they seem to have been more competitive in some of their games at least. You know, they've done a few things here and there. They've had some leads early in games that, you know, they squandered on their way to losing. But, you know, at least they've shown some signs that, you know, maybe the future won't be so glum for them.
A little brighter.
So I'm just going to go Ephrata.
Okay, send your boys out right. Boys, send your coach out right. Sorry. Come on now.
Next on the Section 2 docket, we have a pair of 6-3 teams overall going at it. We have Lebanon going up against Elizabethtown. Lebanon 3-3 in the section. E-Town 4-2, part of a jumble there in third place in the section. Jeff, what do you think here?
This is a good game. It really is. Both teams should be safe for districts, although E-Town's quad. I mean, they should be safe, though. Yeah. Maybe not for a home game. But, wow, Lebanon took Manheim Central to the wire last week. They were leading the Barons late in the fourth quarter. A little Manheim magic sprinkled in at the end, and Central comes back and wins. I know Capello, their quarterback, record-setting quarterback, he's over 2,200 passing yards. I think he got dinged up in the game, but he should be okay for this week. I haven't heard otherwise. Jordan Clenemax over 1,000 receiving yards through 9 weeks. Amazing. Keep an eye on Shane Rosenberry, the E-Town running back, linebacker. Did not carry the ball last week because of some injury issues. He did play linebacker, though, so he may or may not get some more carries this week. I'm going to go Lebanon here. I think E-Town's had a little funky stretch. They lost 2 out of 3. I know they're at home. But boy, oh boy, I just love the way Lebanon moves the ball with this air raid. They've been lights out. Their passing attack's been great. They had Central on the ropes. I think Lebanon definitely wants to get a good seed. Would love a home game in districts. I'm going Cedars.
I'm going to go Elizabethtown just because I think while they could get into districts in Quad A in spite of a loss, I think to really be safe, they need a win here. And folks, you can read about my projections for the district playoffs in the Huddle blog on lanksports.com. I have a post in there this week. My math is by no means official, but it's pretty solid. I think Elizabethtown, if they lose, they really need some help from some of the teams below them. Some of their teams other teams getting bumped off, and they need all the teams that they had beaten earlier this year to win. So it's one of those things where if you want to keep control of your own destiny, you win the game. Sure. So I'm going E-Town just for that reason. Okay. Lebanon's already in no matter what. Yeah. They're basically just playing for positioning here in AAA. So I think E-Town needs this one more, and because of that, I'm going with the Bears in this one.
Bears, okay.
Moving on, we have up next Solanco going up against Cocalico. Jeff, Cocalico, record-wise, best team in Section 2. However, they're not in first place because the one loss they've suffered this year was to Manheim Central. And Solanco 4-5. They're trying to get a 500 record. 2 and 4 in Section 2 play, so they're not really in that race. They're out of district, so this one's basically about pride.
Spoiler game for Solanco. Just try to go over and wreck Cocalico's district seed, I guess. And I guess if the Eagles win, there's a shot they'll be the 2 seed and get the 3 home games.
They could conceivably jump up to 2. It would take some help, but yeah, if they win, that would certainly help their cause.
Big time. 3,300 rushing yards for Cocalico, number 2 offense in the league behind Lebanon. Kyle Fisher's your LL leading rusher. Last week, 6 carries, 116 yards, and 5 touchdowns, 3 runs, a catch, and a pick. So he might be your pound-for-pound MVP in the whole league, Kyle Fisher. He's been unbelievable. So, yeah, I like Cocalico, and I think they'll have an eye on that Central Garden spot score. I know we're getting to that game, but they'll be rooting for the Spartans, maybe try to get a tie here in the section. And Cocalico wants to go into districts firing. They want to get a win, feeling good about themselves. They'd love to get the 2 seed and get 3 home games for sure. So I'll go Cocalico here.
Yeah, I'm going Eagles as well. I just think it's one of those games where the better team's going to win. Cocalico's had all sorts of momentum going. Even in that Central game, that was one of those crazy shootout games that they were leading and wound up losing, but it was back and forth all night. So Cocalico's a very good team. I think they go into districts here with some momentum. And finally, in Section 2, we come to our Spotlight game. This is one of the ones I'm going to be blogging live from this week. Manheim Central going to New Holland to take on Garden Spot. Barron's looking to go 7-0 in the section. They've already clinched at least a share of the title. They won it outright. Whereas Garden Spots, they're trying to upend the Barons and get into districts on a high note here. Sure. They're already in the playoffs, but they're trying to get some positioning here. If they win, they can get a first-round home game. So, Jeff, your thoughts?
Yeah, a lot riding on this one for sure. Injury news for Central. Keep an eye on Jeremy Nosp, the quarterback. Hurt his throwing shoulder, which he had injured before. Popped it out again last week in the Lebanon game. If you read the stuff coming out Saturday, it made it sound like, oh boy, this could really be major, out indefinitely. Nobody knew, but I've sort of since heard could be a game time decision. Held out of practice a couple of days this week, but he will get a day or 2 of practice before Friday. Could be a game time. If not, Justin Gorman, more than capable, junior, played a lot last year, got some starts, so he knows the offense. He's been through it. I'm going to go Barons with or without Nosp. I just like the way they're going. They've been flying since the Wilson Catholic stretch. Central wants an outright crown. Blood is in the water. They see it. They taste it. They definitely want the section title to themselves and go into districts on a positive note. Good game. I think Garden Spot could take them into the 4th here. Don't be surprised, but I think Central holds on.
Yeah, I like the Barons as well. Like you said, I think they're just riding a wave of momentum into the playoffs here. They want to put their stamp back on Section 2. They've had like a hiatus of a few years where they haven't been in title contention, 2 years without a title. They want this one outright. They want it for themselves, and they want to go into districts flying high. So I think the Barons are going to win this one.
Totally agree with you.
Thanks for joining us, and remember, Friday nights at lanksports.com is the place to be for live blogging from our Spotlight games and updates from the games in progress, all the scores from around the league. And don't forget to check here for the fastest final scores in Lancaster County. We have those posted up by about 10:30, 11 p.m. Also, on first thing Saturday morning, we have our scoreboard with all the game details you could possibly look for. All that in one place, lanksports.com. Thanks again.